if you weren't here earlier in the week, we had broke down his history, because I think a lot of people, look at Zim and they see, look, he's old and things like that, and we kind of dismiss his resume, which is a very good resume. He's extremely respected in the league. Everywhere he's been, he's put together top defenses multiple times over. We talked about the stat where 7 out of the last 12 years, he's had a top 5, top 10 defense in DVOA. That's whether he was with the Cowboys where he started, with the Bengals in 2008 to 13, or with the Vikings as their head coach and defensive play caller from 2014 to 2021. Now, here are 3 things to expect. Now, I'm going to revisit some X's and O's as well, but these are just 3 general things to expect from a MIke Zimmer defense, and we're going to go down the line here. Number 1, Mike is going to put an emphasis on stopping the run. This is not going to be a gimmicky defense where everybody's going to go out there and just want to eat, sack party and all that stuff. That will come for sure. But this is a coach that's going to put an emphasis on stopping the run. Schematically, Zim is adaptable for sure. He's shown that throughout his career, but he's also traditional in a sense. He's going to try to make you play one-handed. He wants you to be one-dimensional. He wants you to be what the Cowboys offense is in the playoffs. He wants you to be one-dimensional. So he's going to scheme it that way. He's going to scheme it to stop the run. That is in his wheelhouse. Now, he traditionally does it in a 4-man front, right? We talk about 4-3-3-4, all that nonsense, and you'll see a quote I have later on from Zim. Nonetheless, he does it traditionally from a 4-man front. He'll emphasize nose tackles. If you go look at his history, you'll see he has guys like Michael Pierce, Linval Joseph, Pecco from Cincinnati, Dalvin Tomlinson. He doesn't play around when it comes to that. He also historically has at least one guy that can anchor the run on the edge, but also a guy who can get some pressure too. Think Danielle Hunter, Carlos Dunlap, if you remember him. If you really were in tune to the NFL, then Michael Johnson, used to get him all the time on Madden. You think those type of guys. When I say they, I mean MIke Zimmer and his defense. The way he wants to do this is by being strong in the front 7. And he wants to be strong in the front 7 so he can play more too high looks. We talked about this safety usage look for the Cowboys, ironically, yesterday. And I was talking about how if they hire a Zimmer, I think this thing, it may not get flipped completely upside down on its head, but it will not be that big of a discrepancy where the Cowboys don't play too high often at all. They're primarily, middle of the field close look, one safety, and that's just what it is. And I think, like I said, you look around the league, teams just caught up to that. 27th in the league in two-eye shell, 31st in middle of the field open looks, meaning they do not have too high safeties up there. But he likes to do that because he wants to stop the run with this front 7 so he can eliminate big plays, early downs. In order to do that, you got to have real linebackers, Cowboys Nation. You got to have real linebackers. Somebody had wrote on Twitter when I dropped the news or whatever, and it was like, man, as long as he doesn't put safeties at linebackers. No. He's not doing that. Zim's not doing it. You go look at Zim's history. He has linebackers. Dexter Coakley's, that wins. Eric Kendricks, Anthony Barrs, Vincent Reyes. He's going to get you some linebackers in here. In fact, it would not shock me if they want linebacker hunting in free agency. Now, the money is a thing, how Stephen Jones is, but I think 100% they're going to bring in not one, but at least 2 via free agency and possibly draft 2 in the draft. I mean, you can't really run this defense without traditional real-ass linebackers. And I think he's going to bring that. You'll need 2 stout ones down the middle, strong down the middle, with obviously the defensive tackle play as well. So I expect that from a Zimmer, I almost said Zimmerman, Zimmer defense. Another thing, why you want to be strong early in downs is to get into a favorable third down situation is because Zim has shown to be one of the best third down masterminds on defense in the game in the last, between at least 2017 and 2021. You can go back further, probably with the Cowboys and with the Bengals, but we'll be more recent history here. Again, shouts out to Mo for dropping this the other day. But between 2017 and 2021, his last 5 seasons as a defensive or as a head coach in Washington, on third downs, they were one of the best. Per EPA per play, by the way, from dropbacks and rushing. Top 2. And they're one of the best because of how aggressive but deceptive they are. What do you mean by aggressive but deceptive? Bill Belichick, one of the most respected minds in the game, one of the most respected defensive minds in the game. Listen to him. Don't listen to me. Listen to what he said about their defense. This is a quote from Bill Belichick during his time in the league playing against Zim. He said, quote, "They disguise well. I'd say that's one of their real strengths, is they give you a bunch of not so much different looks, but different combinations off similar looks. You have to be ready for everybody. Sometimes it's strong side, sometimes it's weak side. Sometimes it's up the middle, sometimes it's man, sometimes it's zone. Sometimes it's blitz zone, all out blitz. Sometimes it's just max coverage and they drop everybody off, but off that same look." That's music to my ears because unlike Dan Quinn, Zim will change the picture post snap, but in a way that it's not difficult for his defense, but it keeps the quarterback guessing and it's difficult for them. And we showed some of this, right? Some of these type of different looks earlier in the week when we dropped the film, and we'll probably have more film as we go on, as long as they obviously close this deal with Zimmer. We showed it where they'll show a double A gap pressure and they'll peel off and the backers are in the hook zone or in the curl flat zone area. They'll show somewhere the backers will blitz. They'll show somewhere everybody drops back and next thing you know, a defensive back is blitzing and you get a free rusher. There's a defense coordinator in the league that does this better than anyone in the league, and it's by far, and that's Spagnuolo. Spags over there in Kansas City gets more free rushers than anyone in the National Football League by a mile. Like, it's not even close. And it's because he does similar things, right? Where he shows different packages, guys are peeling off or whatnot. And Spags, he changes the defense. There was a video going around in that Miami game. Funny thing is, the guy was open, but where you saw a 1 high go to 2 back to 1 in like one motion. You know, that's some of the things that he would do. But Zim will do the same things. And Zim has showed the ability to adapt. He's shown the ability to do some combo type coverages. We didn't see that in Dan. He's shown the ability to change the picture. We didn't really see that with Dan. At the end of the day, though, the dude just knows defense. Here's a quote during his time in Minnesota that stood out to me, especially the end here. But here's a quote. Zim says, "Honestly, I want to fit our scheme to the players to the best of our abilities. Like I said before, it really does not matter if it's a 3-4 or a 4-3. As far as my philosophy, I want to stop the run and I want to hit the quarterback. However that is, if we got a blitz, I think we have a great blitz package. But I want to be fundamentally sound in what we do." Let me repeat that part because the Cowboys were not. I want to be fundamentally sound in what we do. There are teams that can go out there who can go out and make a lot of big plays, but they are not fundamentally sound. 2023 Dallas Cowboys defense. Then when the game gets on the line, they do not perform in the crucial situations of the game. It's MIke Zimmer.